On the news this morning, Governor Obiano reassures on sustaining high tempo of infrastructural development across the state. State Police Command arrests robbery suspect and recovers arms. American lawmaker calls for global attention on Nigeria's general election. On the foreign scene, Taiwan President Wen to seek re-election in 2020. Good morning and thanks for joining us on the news. My name is Nonye Mwokoye. Asphalting has commenced on Udoji Road, Ozobolo. Governor Willie Obiano visited the site for on-the-spot assessment of the ongoing construction work. A Government House correspondent, Ejike Abana, has details.
Massive construction is ongoing on the road, which is 3.43 kilometers, was awarded by the governor in January this year. According to the governor, his administration is determined to sustain high tempo in the provision of infrastructural developments to people of the state. The governor said that in spite of the campaign season, he is not relenting in providing infrastructural facilities to the people and disclosed that having mobilized the contractor, the project will be completed before the rainy season. He urged the people to give ABGA candidates total support in the coming elections.
Politics continuing all nalo condition it's only 3.5 kilometers and we must finish it before the rain comes. All I ask of Ozobolo people is for you guys to support our candidates.
The Commissioner for Works, Engineer Marcel Ifejiofor, pointed out that with the ongoing asphalting, the road is nearing completion.
This road has been in the front burner for a very long time, and some politicians have been doing politics with this road. But His Excellency had decided that we are going to do this road, and we are doing the road. To show you how important this road is, this road was awarded in January 2019. And this is February, and asphalt is going on.
The contractor, Chief Adolf Izwebu, said that the project supposed to last for 12 months, but will be completed within 3 months. Speaking to the ABS, an Anambra stakeholder in the area, Chief Jude Emechata, recalled that the road has been abandoned for many years before the advent of the present administration, stressing that the road will add to the economic viability of the people of the area, among other benefits. Community members and ABGA candidates in the area, including the Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Barrister Rita Maduagwu, among others, thronged the venue to welcome the governor and entourage. From Ozobolo in Ekwusigo Council area, Ejike Abana, ABS News.
The State Police Command has arrested some armed robbery suspects and recovered some arms and ammunition. According to a statement from the Police Public Relations Officer DP Haruna Mohammed, operatives attached to the Command Anti-Robbery Squad SARS arrested one Celestine Ogaru and Chukwebuka Onwuta at Mpo in Idemele North local government area for allegedly attacking and robbing at gunpoint one Oko Chinedu of Enugu. The statement said during the exercise, the police recovered from the suspects a handset robbed from the victim while the case is under investigation, after which suspects would be charged to court for prosecution. Similarly, the statement said that following intelligence report, police operatives attached to the Command Special Anti-Robbery Squad went to Asaba in Delta State and arrested one Chukwezugo Paul of Asaba, who and 3 others at large had allegedly robbed at gunpoint one Mrs. Onwuzulike Chinyere at Orumba North local government area of a Toyota Venza car with Samsung phone and iPhone 8, while one Beretta pistol with 10 rounds of 9mm ammunition, 3 iPhones, 1 Samsung phone, were recovered from the suspects, allegedly robbed from the victim. It also said the police recovered from the suspect 2 vehicles and 1 cutlass. The statement claimed that the suspect has voluntarily confessed to the crime. An effort is being intensified to apprehend his fleeing accomplices in order to bring them to justice. A tanker fire at Ihiala has claimed some lives, buildings, and some vehicles. We'll bring you the details now.
Confirming the incident, the director of the State Fire Service, Mr. Martin Abali, said personnel of the agency from Nnewi and Onitsha stations swung into action immediately they received the distress call, but discovered that the inferno had spread when they got to the scene. Mr. Abali confirmed that a pregnant woman and her 2 children were killed in the fire, while some vehicles were also burnt. According to an eyewitness, Mr. Emeka Ofebu, the truck laden with cooking gas was on transit from Warri to Owerri when it rammed into a barricade at an army checkpoint at Ihiala end of the Onitsha-Owerri road and burst into flames, burning a Celestial church and other vehicles. When he visited the accident scene to ascertain the cause and level of damage, the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Petroleum, PTD and Union Matters, Comrade Peter Nwosu, while commiserating with victims, commended the men of the State Fire Service for their prompt intervention in putting off the fire.
The state chairman of the All Progressives Grand Alliance, Abgasa Norbert Obi, has called on the residents of the state and party faithfuls not to be deterred by the postponement of the dates of the general elections. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, had on Saturday morning, few hours to the opening of the polls, announced the total postponement of the elections. David Okpokwasale has details.
Speaking to the ABS in Awka, Sir Norbert regretted the sudden postponement of the elections and said that it will somewhat affect the credibility of the rescheduled Saturday polls and consequently that of March 9 polls. He therefore urged INEC to ensure that the rescheduled polls meet international standards by ensuring free, fair and credible elections. Sir Norbert also implored the Anambra and his party candidates not to be dampened by the postponement but to come out en masse on Saturday and vote the candidates of their choice.
I urge the Anambra and all of our candidates, both presidential, senatorial, House of Rep and State Assembly candidates, and gubernatorial candidates in some states like Imo and the Anambra to have faith in God, hoping that on the 23rd we will see come out and vote.
His APC counterpart, Chief Basil Ejidike, on his part, condemned the act, especially as it came on the election day, but urged Nigerians to give INEC benefit of the doubt, as February 23 will soon be here. Chief Ejidike urged all political parties to ensure massive sensitization of the electorate on the need for them to come out en masse on election day to exercise their civic responsibilities. He said that it is better shifted to get it right than having the election amidst challenges, urging everyone to remain calm and calculated so that INEC can concentrate on organizing a free, fair and credible elections.
Appeal to our people is that they should not in any way be demoralized by what has happened. They should see that as even a source of inspiration, something that will even inspire them more to be part of the process. Because it's only when you are part of the process that you can be able to produce, the end results. And nobody should abandon midway. We expect, well, of course, they said 23rd. 23rd is just a question of days. So I expect that people should still be motivated to turn out en masse and vote.
In Awka, this is David Okpokwasale reporting for ABS News.
The Anambra State Boundaries Committee has been called upon to, as a matter of urgency, look into the boundary issues between Ivitenteje and Odumodu Omonia, both in Oyi Council area, with a view to stemming tension brewing up in the area. The appeal was made by both communities following clearing of some portions of land near the Odumodu bus stand axis of the Enugu-Onitsha Express Road. Correspondent Ngozi Obileri has an update on the issue.
Women and youths of Odumodu village Omonia staged a peaceful protest on the said portion of land, shouting at the top of their voices lamenting their losses over the cleared portion of land which they said is their only source of livelihood. Some of them, including Messrs. Uju Uranze and Paul Nwabuebo, explained that they woke up sometime 2 weeks ago and discovered that their cassava farms have been cleared without any warning. They argued that such practice is an abomination in Igbo land, as uprooting crops when they are not due for harvest is referred to as ifejioko and frowned at it.
It is quite unfortunate that this kind of thing happened in our present. Nteje people, they just enter into our land unawares. Nobody knows. And what made them to enter here, we don't know.
We cultivate cassava a lot. So like 3 days or 4 days ago, our men came here and they beat them up heavily with knives. They had to run and go to the hospital.
Reacting to the development, the traditional ruler of Umunya, Igwe Chris Onyekuluje, expressed shock as he claimed an appeal court ruling has restrained people from entering the land until the court takes its final stand on the issue. Igwe Onyekuluje said that he received a distress call when the clearing started and warned his subjects not to engage in any unlawful act, as he said that people of the community are law-abiding and peaceful. He said that he has written to the State Boundaries Commission to determine the boundary, as he maintained that Nengo River is the boundary between the two communities. He argued that rivers are natural boundaries established over decades ago.
There's no point going to fight. The damage is done. You can see the widows. They're all crying, lamenting. You see the size of the land that was damaged by the so-called dozer. Mine is it don't go with violence to sort any issue. It's already established that Nengo is the boundary between Nteje and Umunya.
In a swift reaction, the traditional ruler of Nteje, Igwero Land Odebo, claimed that the people of Umunya are tenants of Nteje community, who were given that portion of land by their forefathers only to live in and not to be the owners. He said that the people of Ivite Nteje are now in need of the land, hence they are laying claims to what belongs to them. Igwe Odebo recalled that the Supreme Court had in the past given judgment in favor of Ndi Ivite Nteje, wondering why Umunya people are still laying claims to the land. The Nteje monarch said moving forward, he will discuss with his Umunya counterparts to know how to bring lasting solution to the issue before it escalates to something ugly. He said part of his peace ideas is bringing the State Boundaries Commission into the matter.
The first fact is that Odumodu in Umunya is a customary tenant of Nteje. The land in which they habitate today belongs to Ivite Nteje. The land that was cleared belongs clearly to Ivite Nteje. Up to Supreme Court, the judgment had been given, and they went to clear their land. They did not damage anybody's property.
I am Ngozi Obileri for ABS News.
If you've just joined us, this is ABS Television News. We're going to take a very short break here. When we return, American lawmaker calls for global attention on Nigeria's general elections. And on the foreign team, we'll bring you Taiwan President Wen to seek re-election in 2020. These and more stories after the break. To join us again.
A popular saying in Nigeria goes that at the time a cockerel matures, it begins to crow to tell the world the time of day. This makes a crucial premise for all of us who have come of age, the youths, to lend our voices to a nation set to flip a new page, like the chance to vote and be voted for, whether being a youth, a woman, or a person with disability, and to do this in unity. And to anyone who hasn't been confident enough to exercise these rights, I beg, step out of the dark and come into the light. I mean, your participating in the electoral process is significant, a moment to behold, like that cock crowing in the morning to tell about a difference. No sit down, look. Do something that will count today and be in tomorrow's books. The elections are coming. Register for and get your voter's card, your power card. As a citizen, and especially as a young lady or lad, lend your voice, use your voice, talk, say, and tell the world the time of day.
Welcome back to the rest of the news. American lawmaker Chris Smith has advised that at the minimum, the 2019 presidential election must meet the 2015 standards. Smith said the standard of the 2015 presidential election led to peaceful transfer of power, while a statement by the incumbent President Goodluck Jonathan averted bloodshed. Smith, who was the immediate past chairman of the House Foreign Affairs Subcommittee on Africa, called upon the Trump administration and the State Department to focus greater attention upon Nigeria. He explained that in addition to being sub-Saharan Africa's most populous nation, Nigeria is its biggest economy, and what happens in Nigeria has ramifications beyond its borders. On business news, the founder of Chinese telecommunications equipment giant Huawei has said the United States cannot defeat its company's global ambitions. Washington has repeatedly accused Chinese companies of stealing proprietary technology to gain a competitive edge, something Beijing has denied. The accusations are among several at the heart of a major trade dispute between the two world's top two economies. On Saturday, U.S. Vice President Mike Pence told the Security Conference in Munich that the Chinese government requires Huawei and other Chinese telecommunications firms to give it access to any data that goes through their networks. He warned Washington's allies against using equipment made by Huawei and its peers, but some of those countries appear to be less concerned than the U.S. Citing unnamed sources, media report said that British intelligence services believe any threats posed by Huawei equipment in next-generation so-called 5 gigs mobile networks can be managed. Taiwan President Tsai Ing-wen says she will run for re-election as the island's leader in 2020 despite her flagging popularity and growing hostility from Beijing. Tsai revealed her plans Tuesday in an interview while aboard her presidential plane, saying she wanted to complete her vision for Taiwan. Tsai was the first woman to be elected leader of the self-governed democratic island in 2016, sweeping to power amid promises to overhaul the economy and lessen Taiwan's reliance on mainland China. But 2 years later, her Democratic Progressive Party DPP suffered bruising losses during local elections in 2018, prompting her to resign as chairwoman of the party. Across the island, her party lost by almost 10% of the votes. Since then, she has faced calls from senior members of her own party not to seek re-election. But despite the criticism, Tsai said she is confident in her ability to win. And now on sports news, the president of the Nigeria Referees Association, NRA, Tade Aziz, has insisted the body will take the necessary steps to enforce its zero tolerance towards corruption. His comments come after the NRA suspended 18 match officials as it investigates alleged misconduct. The referees were initially removed from the list of officials for the Week 10 fixtures in the Nigerian top flight, or the suspension will continue during the probe. While the NRA confirmed the suspension and investigation, it refused to comment on reports in the local media that claimed to have details of some of the wrongdoing. Now remember that you can follow news and programs on ABS from any part of the world by logging on to our website www.absradiotv.com. Like us at www.facebook.com/absradiotelevision. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ABS Radio TV. And the main point of the news once again, Governor Obiano has reassured on sustaining high tempo of infrastructural development across the state. State Police Command has arrested robbery suspects and recovered arms. American lawmaker has called for global attention on Nigeria's general elections. And from the foreign team, we brought a report that Taiwan President Ing-wen to seek re-election in 2020. And that's just about it on the news for this morning. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Nonye Mokoye. Good morning.